Hi y'all. Today is Sunday. We are making homemade vegetable beef soup. I don't know about you, but I've a bad habit of putting vegetables up in the summertime in the freezer and then forgetting to use them during the winter. And so then we have, next summer comes and we've got more vegetables to put up in the freezer, and I still haven't used up the ones I put up last summer. So I'm trying to do better about that and include these vegetables in with our meals each week now. I don't know why I tend to forget that I have all those vegetables out there, but anyhow, I've got some frozen squash that I'm going to put in this soup. I've got some zipper peas that I'm going to use, some lima beans, these are speckled butter beans, and some green beans. I'm cooking some onion. I've got a half of a red onion that I have already put in the pot here, and then 1 pound of ground round. It doesn't have as much fat in it, so it'll cook up nicely, and I won't have to go with draining it. I can just put it right in the crock pot. This is going to be a crock pot meal. Hope y'all enjoyed going to church this morning, or at least watching it online like we do. Giving thanks to God for such a beautiful day. So let me get this cooked up and I'll get right back with you. Okay, y'all, this meat is ready, so I'm going to put it right here in the crock pot. That's the meat and onions. The onions are translucent now, and the meat is all browned. I wound up adding a half a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of pepper, and a half a teaspoon of garlic powder in with this while it was cooking, just to go ahead and season that meat up a little bit. All right, now, next thing we're going to do is add some liquid to the pot. Now, I've got a little bit of chicken broth left over from another meal, so I'm just going to pour that in. There's probably about maybe a cup of that. I also have some vegetable broth that was left over, and there's maybe about a cup of that in here too. So just gives us some liquid first, that soup, and cleans out the refrigerator. Sometimes I just call this refrigerator soup. I also have my leftover tomato basil soup that I made, and I'm going to put that in here, but you could use a can of tomato soup, just regular condensed tomato soup, and just put that in. But I've got this ready, so I might as well just use it. Add some tomato flavor in here. And it's a little bit thicker than just regular tomatoes, so it helps thicken the soup up some. All right, so let me get this stuff out of the way. And now I'm going to cut open some of these bags of frozen vegetables and put them in there. These are the zipper peas. So just a nice big frozen chunk of zipper peas goes in there. Squash. There's the frozen squash in there. So as those thaw, I'm going to put this on over onto high. And then I've got these lima beans. Bob loves these things. Me, not so much. But anyhow, so that's got some good vegetables in there. The green beans, I think there's too many in this package, so I'm going to cut it open and see if I can break and get some of these out. I may have to run it under some cold water, and then we'll have the other green beans tomorrow, just in as cooked as a vegetable. I'm also going to peel and chop, excuse me, some little red potatoes. These are just 2 good sized red potatoes there. And of course a couple of carrots. And then I always add a bay leaf when I'm making soup or stews like this. I always add a couple of bay leaves. I just like the flavor. And you know, a big container like this, the bay leaves last like forever. Just wanted you to know that. And then something I've always done too is I've always added a pretty good handful of pearl barley to my soups. I just like what it does in the soup. I'm not really exactly sure what it does, but it's something I've always done, and my soups are pretty good. So I think to kick this soup up a little bit, I'm going to add a can of the Rotel tomatoes and chilies. I'll add just a nice little kick of flavor in there. Get that in there. I can add some more tomato flavor in the soup as well. So, soup doesn't stir very good with these chunks of frozen vegetables, but as they thaw, it'll be better. So, and then I may wind up, after I taste it, adding another can of diced tomatoes, but I'm going to wait until after I taste it. I also usually like to add a little bit of Worcestershire. So hold on a second, let me get that. Some people don't use Worcestershire because they can't add too much sodium to their dishes, but I like it. Just adds a nice little extra flavor. I'll put 2 tablespoons of that in here. So, all right, so I'm going to stop the video while I peel and chop up the potatoes and the onions, and then I'll get right back with you. All right, y'all, I got the potatoes and the carrots all chopped up, and they're on the top now. And it's really too thick for me to stir them in very good because the the vegetables underneath are still frozen. But I've got the crock pot turned on high, and these will start cooking in a little bit as the others thaw underneath, and my house will start smelling really good. So I'll talk to y'all later. Hey y'all, I'm back. It's been about 4 hours of cooking in the crock pot, and this soup is ready. The potatoes are nice and tender, and everything is just super looking. Let me show you how great this looks. Just look at that. You can see the butter beans, the potatoes, the carrots, the peas, and all that ground round in there. I mean, I did wind up adding the other can of diced tomatoes in there, and I also added about 2/3 of a cup of ketchup, just to make it a little bit more tomato flavor and add a little bit of sweetness to it. So I've taken out a little dish of it here. I'm going to take a little sample bite. Make sure I don't burn my tongue. Oh y'all, that is so good. As you can tell, this is a real hearty soup. It'll be very filling. I'm going to make a pan of cornbread to go with it. And that's dinner for tonight. And I'll probably share some with some friends, and also this will be dinner for lunch for several days, because it made a huge pot full of it. So just want to let you know, there's nothing that beats a good pot of soup, especially on a cold evening. So talk to y'all later. Have a blessed evening.